I don't normally watch South Park, okay? My daughter made me, okay? But she did. My 14-year-old, who's going on 35, insisted that I sit down and watch the first 2 episodes of the new season of South Park, and I was not disappointed. If you are really paying attention to everything that the Trump regime is doing, South Park nails it, and they certainly have Trump's number. And apparently Kristi Noem of the melting off face is very upset with them. But since they're actually a Canadian show, they can't do anything about it. Gosh, that's too bad. Meanwhile, this is a really interesting story. If you know anything about Florida politics, or if you've ever gone to Disney World or Universal Studios and you've seen all the billboards, in Florida they think that conception begins on the first date. Okay, on the first date, the baby is viable. Whatever. But there's a Florida woman who has chosen to drink raw milk. Apparently this is a growing trend. Something about raw milk is better for you. You know, we did invent pasteurization for a reason, right? One of her children got sick and she lost a fetus, or as they probably say, a fully developed and grown and viable child because of drinking raw milk. So she's trying to sue the dairy, Keeley Farms, that sells raw milk for the purpose of serving to animals. I mean, what else can I say? That's just, that's the story. Isn't that kind of like people who took ivermectin, a horse tranquilizer, to treat COVID and got really sick and maybe even died? That's just natural selection, and I'm fully in favor of that. People who decide that they have to drink raw milk and serve it to their kids, even though it's meant to be fed to animals, I don't think we need those people around. I'm sure she's wonderful. Trump did, as we talked about yesterday, he issued an executive order that would disenfranchise tens of millions of voters. He feels that we're the only country that does mail-in ballots, even though I did count. There are 32. You can Google that. 32 countries do mail-in ballots, not just us. And he wants to have control over the voting machines so that he can determine who wins the election. That sounds like Greg Abbott here in Texas. He wants to control who wins things without bothering to count votes. What could go wrong? Meanwhile, many federal judges immediately blocked this because the power to govern over elections is squarely in the hands of the state. It's a constitutional authority. Not that we care about the Constitution anymore. I laugh because it's insane. And finally, we have 5 more states, do I need to say they're red states? 5 more states have sent National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. at the request of the regime. And the interesting fact is Washington, D.C.'s violent crime rate is 26.6%. You want to know the 5 states that sent troops? Ohio, South Carolina, Louisiana, Tennessee, and West Virginia. You want to know just randomly at 5 cities that have a higher violent crime rate than Washington, D.C.? Columbus, Ohio, Charleston, South Carolina, the capital, New Orleans, Louisiana, Nashville, Tennessee, and Charleston, West Virginia. Their capital is also Charleston, and those cities all have a higher crime rate than Washington, D.C. What if you deployed your National Guard to stop the crime in your own state before you sent them to Washington, D.C., which experienced a double-digit drop in crime last year? I don't know. Seems like common sense to me, which is probably why they don't do it. Anyway, what fun times we're having. My name's Bill. I'm a college professor in Dallas, Texas, and as always, thanks for watching.